Understand why this could become the biggest football tournament the world has ever seen. For nearly 3 decades, football fans became familiar with one number, 32. From 1998 all the way through the 2022 tournament, exactly 32 national teams competed for football's greatest prize. That format created unforgettable moments. Brazil's dominance, Germany's consistency, France's rise, Argentina's magical triumph in Qatar, and countless underdog stories that reminded everyone why the World Cup is different from every other football competition. But football has changed. More countries now invest heavily in youth development. New football nations continue to improve every year. Television audiences keep growing. Entire continents want more representation. So FIFA made one of the biggest decisions in football history. Beginning with the 2026 FIFA World Cup, the tournament expands from 32 teams to 48 national teams. That's an increase of 50%. And because of that single decision, almost everything else had to change too. The group stage, the knockout stage, qualification, scheduling, even the number of matches fans will get to watch. Let's break it all down. The biggest change, 48 teams. Imagine inviting 16 extra countries to football's biggest party. That's exactly what's happening. Instead of only 32 teams qualifying, 48 nations will now earn a place on football's biggest stage. This is the largest expansion in World Cup history. But why? The answer is actually pretty simple. Football is no longer dominated by just Europe and South America. Countries from Asia, Africa, North America, and even Oceania have improved dramatically over the past 20 years. Think about Morocco reaching the semifinals in 2022. Japan regularly defeating European giants, South Korea making deep tournament runs, the United States continuing to develop talent playing in Europe's biggest leagues. Even nations that rarely qualified decades ago are now producing world-class players. FIFA wanted more of these stories. Instead of leaving strong teams at home, the organization believes the World Cup should better represent football's global growth. That means more dreams become reality. Countries that spent generations missing out finally get their chance. And for millions of fans, simply qualifying for the World Cup becomes a historic national achievement. 3 host nations instead of 1. Another massive first. The 2026 World Cup will be hosted by 3 countries instead of 1. The United States, Canada, and Mexico. No World Cup has ever been organized across 3 nations on this scale. The reason? 48 teams require far more stadiums, hotels, airports, training facilities, and transportation than previous tournaments. Sharing the tournament spreads the workload. It also allows millions more supporters to attend matches across North America. Mexico makes history by becoming the first country ever to host men's World Cup matches in 3 different tournaments. The United States provides many of the world's largest stadiums, capable of holding over 70,000 spectators. Canada continues its rapid football growth after impressive investments in the sport. Together, the 3 nations create the largest World Cup footprint ever seen. How the group stage works. Now comes the question that confused almost everyone when FIFA announced the expansion. How do you fit 48 teams into one tournament? Originally, FIFA planned something very different. The idea was simple. Create 16 groups of 3 teams. Each team would play only 2 matches. The top 2 teams from every group would reach the knockout stage. On paper, it sounded efficient. But fans quickly pointed out a major problem. Imagine the final match of a group where 2 teams already know exactly what result sends both of them through. That could encourage boring football or even suspicious scorelines. Football has seen controversial situations like this before. One famous example happened during the 1982 World Cup, when the result between West Germany and Austria eliminated Algeria under controversial circumstances. Nobody wanted history to repeat itself. So FIFA changed course. Instead, the 2026 tournament will feature 12 groups of 4 teams, just like fans have become familiar with over the past several World Cups. Each team plays 3 group matches. Win a match and earn 3 points. Draw and earn 1 point. Lose and receive none. That part stays exactly the same. The difference comes after the groups finish. The new qualification to the knockout stage. Under the old system, it was easy. Finish first or second. Advance. Finish third or fourth. Go home. Now it's more interesting. The winner of each group qualifies. The runner-up qualifies. But that's only 24 teams. To create a 32-team knockout bracket, FIFA also allows the 8 best third-place teams to qualify. That means finishing third no longer automatically ends your World Cup. Every goal suddenly matters. Goal difference matters. Goals scored matter. Fair play points can even become important. Imagine your team finishes third after the final group game. You're not eliminated yet. Instead, players, coaches, and fans spend hours watching matches from other groups, hoping their results are just good enough to sneak into the round of 32. It creates tension even after your own match has finished. Instead of packing their bags immediately, players might still have a chance. And that's exactly the kind of late drama FIFA hopes to create. The brand new round of 32. Here's where the tournament becomes even more exciting. For nearly 30 years, the knockout stage began with the round of 16. Once the group stage ended, only 16 teams remained, and every match became do or die. Now, with 48 teams entering the competition and 32 surviving the group stage, FIFA has introduced an entirely new knockout round, the round of 32. Think of it as an extra chapter in the World Cup story. Instead of going straight into the biggest clashes, teams must survive one more elimination match before reaching the traditional round of 16. That means every qualified nation has another chance to prove itself, and every favorite has another opportunity to stumble. History has shown us that football doesn't always reward the strongest team. One mistake, one red card, one brilliant free kick, or one incredible save can change everything. With an extra knockout round, the chances of unforgettable upsets become even greater. A record-breaking number of matches. The old 32-team tournament featured 64 matches. Fans already felt like they were watching football every single day. Now imagine adding 40 more games. The 2026 FIFA World Cup will feature 104 matches, making it the longest and largest World Cup in history. For football fans, that's fantastic news. There will be more games to watch, more highlights to enjoy, and more stories to follow. But there's another side to this expansion. Players will have to compete in more high-pressure matches if they want to become world champions. Winning the World Cup has always been one of the hardest achievements in sports. Now, it becomes even more demanding. The champions will likely need to manage their squad carefully, rotate players, avoid injuries, and maintain peak performance over a longer tournament. Depth could become just as important as star power. Why smaller nations benefit? Perhaps the biggest winners aren't the traditional giants like Brazil, Germany, Argentina, or France. They're the countries that have spent decades dreaming of simply qualifying. Imagine being a supporter from a nation that has never experienced a World Cup. Every 4 years, your team comes close but falls just short. Now, with 16 additional places available, that dream suddenly feels realistic. More African nations can qualify. More Asian teams can compete. More North American and Caribbean countries have opportunities. Oceania also receives greater representation than ever before. For players, qualifying becomes a career-defining achievement. For supporters, it's a celebration that can unite an entire country. And for young children watching at home, seeing their national team on football's biggest stage can inspire the next generation of stars. But not everyone agrees. Of course, not every football fan supports the expansion. Some critics argue that increasing the number of teams could reduce the overall quality of the tournament. Their concern is simple. If weaker teams qualify, will we see more one-sided matches? Could some group stage games become less competitive? Others worry about player fatigue. Modern footballers already play domestic leagues, domestic cups, continental competitions, and international matches throughout the year. Adding more World Cup games means even greater physical demands. On the other hand, supporters of the new format believe football has evolved. The gap between traditional giants and emerging nations has become much smaller. We've already seen countries once considered outsiders defeat some of the biggest names in football. Upsets are no longer rare. They're part of what makes the World Cup so special. Only time will tell which side is right. Here's something many fans don't realize. The very first FIFA World Cup in 1930 featured only 13 teams. Just 13. There were no qualification tournaments for most countries, international travel was extremely difficult, and football wasn't yet the global phenomenon it is today. Fast forward nearly a century, and the tournament has expanded to 48 teams representing every corner of the world. Another fascinating fact is that no country had ever hosted men's World Cup matches 3 separate times, until Mexico. After hosting in 1970 and 1986, Mexico becomes the first nation in history to reach that milestone. And here's another record. The United States will stage matches in some of the largest stadiums ever used for a World Cup, with several venues capable of welcoming more than 70,000 spectators. That means millions of fans could experience the tournament in person. Finally, consider this. The World Cup isn't just a football tournament. It's one of the largest sporting events on Earth, watched by billions of viewers across almost every country. For 1 month, football becomes the world's common language. So why should casual fans care about all these format changes? Because the structure of a tournament shapes the stories we remember. A larger World Cup means more nations with hope, more players becoming household names, more unforgettable moments, more dramatic knockout matches, more opportunities for history to be made. Maybe the next great football fairy tale won't come from a traditional powerhouse. Maybe it will come from a country making its World Cup debut. Maybe the next global superstar is currently playing in a nation that rarely received international attention. The expanded tournament gives those players and countries a chance to surprise the world. And that's what football has always been about. Hope, dreams, and believing that anything can happen for 90 minutes. The FIFA World Cup 2026 isn't simply getting bigger. It's becoming a completely different competition. 48 teams, 12 groups, a brand new round of 32. 104 matches, 3 host nations, more opportunities, more drama, and perhaps more unforgettable memories than any World Cup before it. Whether you love the new format or prefer the old one thing is certain. Football history is about to enter a brand new era, and the entire world will be watching. If this video helped you finally understand the new FIFA World Cup 2026 format, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more football explainers. And here's today's question. Do you think expanding the World Cup to 48 teams will make the tournament better, or do you prefer the classic 32-team format? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next football breakdown.